more about this evolution of yoga during COVID?
Yes, thank you for this beautiful question and for the preparation that you've gone to have this conversation. I appreciate it very, very much. Yes, there is a very strong need that has arisen in the world because the usual life, the usual economies have been taken off us. The usual pastimes like sport, for example, and any gatherings have been taken off us for quite a long time now. And people have had to resort to what is most basic about life. Most basic, and that is that each person is alive as life, you know. And much of what has occupied us and distracted us, and also distracted us from really looking at the pain that has been created, that mankind has, put on mankind, the way humanity treat each other, and the pain that has arisen in all of that, let alone the climate issues and the climate chaos and the toxicity that's on the planet and all the health issues and all the pandemics, of which there are many. We've all been distracted by that usual life of, stimulation, of sport and money and career and economies of every kind, going to the moon. Wow, how exciting, all of that. Trying to make oxygen on Mars, where we can't even provide the sick with oxygen at home. And we've had time now to reflect upon that. We've been forced to learn how to be content as simply to be alive, as life itself. So many sensitive people in my world who I've never actually personally met, not in the same two bodies in the same room. I have met, like I'm meeting you, definitely I'm meeting through, light through glass. Thank you, Apple. Thank you, Steve Jobs. Light through glass and heart to heart. I come right into your room and I meet you. It's like, yay, and we meet each other. We get to know each other, really to know each other as friends. That has happened. And it's happened in gatherings just like this, on gatherings of light through glass, heart to heart, of people all over the world. And what they're learning to do is to be content in their own skin, to be content in their own reality, capital R, reality, the power of the cosmos that brought us here in the first place and that presently beats my heart and moves my breath. That power, that is my pure essence, my existingness, So that's what it was like in the ancient world. Yoga was something that you did in your own home, in the sanctuary of your own house. You didn't go to yoga in large groups and do some sort of patterned gymnastics that everybody tries to do, like a cookie cutter. My teacher used to say, yogis are not built on assembly lines. Yoga is very personal. It's something you do in your own house, in your own culture, in the way that's right for you, your own body type, your own age and health, like that. And you do this moving and breathing, using the anatomy to engage the breath. And this moving anatomy enhances the breath. It makes the breath stronger and longer. And the ancient people would say that breath is the primary critical function of the whole body, not the heartbeat. If you strengthen the breath, then all other critical functions of the body increase, right? That's the secret of yoga, to work with the breath, not struggle with the breath, but just be with the breath and using the anatomy to be with the breath. Then the health of the system improves very quickly. And especially in this time of the respiratory illness that we are under, that we are suffering, very helpful to engage the breath. And we on exhale, we release what we don't need. Exhale, we release what is old so that we can receive what is new on the inhale, right? Or we empty what is too full and then we fill what is too empty. This inhale, exhale. That's what we do. And the beauty of it is that anybody can do it. Anybody at home, anybody listening to this. By tomorrow morning, you can be doing a practice of inhale, exhale, linking the mind to the whole body. When you link the breath to the whole body, the mind follows the breath. And therefore, the mind becomes linked to the whole body. The mind becomes linked to its source, which is life itself. The mind becomes clear. The brain core becomes receptive, like a big bowl, like this, not a knot of thinking and worrying. And we often then develop clarity about our purpose and what we want to do, as we discussed before.
And Mark, another thing I want to ask you as we are going into our final minutes here in the conversation, I want to ask you if you are an optimist about the future, about what's to come, about these all vaccines and is COVID coming to an end? How is the new normal? How is life after this? So are you optimistic about our future?
I am optimistic because I think this last year, has made us more serious. And I don't mean humorless, but serious or more sincere about what us humans need to do to cooperate with each other, and what we need to do to cooperate with the ecologies of Mother Nature that we depend upon. You know, the human species, we've messed up our own nest. And we've even messed up with each other. You know, there are patterned thought structures, you know, what being played out with one pattern, my view in opposition to your view, and it's a mass dissociation, you see. And this sort of over stressing and overproduction and over use of resources toxifies the planet and the oceans. We've had to look at it more sincerely, more seriously. And there will come from that some great cultural changes, just like what happened in the 60s, like I spoke of, when, you know, black music came through the United States, then onto the world, and we could feel the pulse of our own organisms, and we could celebrate life rather than the dreadful, dark dreariness of Europe and the colonization of the Americas and the colonization of Australia, New Zealand, and Africa, and all of that dreadful darkness that went into that created the public life for the last 50, 100 years, you know, of suffering, let alone what happened before then. And I feel like we're lifting the lid off that, and we're seeing the problem, and we're able now to look at it clearly and do something about it. So I am optimistic. I think, you know, in the great Vedic tradition, especially in the goddess traditions, the feminine divine, when somebody gets sick, it's considered to be a visitation of the goddess that has come to make a correction on the organism that's unwell.